G'day, I'm Joe and this is Aerodite. One of the greatest things in aviation for me is the $100 hamburger. For those of you not familiar, a $100 hamburger is a bunch of mates getting together, flying away just for the purpose of having lunch together. One of our favourite places to drop into in the States would have to be Gastons. Gastons is located high in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas, right along the banks of the White River, where it has its very own runway right next to the restaurant. It's a spectacular setting, but a challenging approach on a number of fronts.
Welcome to 7,000 feet above Arkansas. One of the great things about flying in the States is there are so many airports, so many interesting places to visit and to fly into. Today I'm going to take you into one of my personal favourites, which is Gastons Airport on the White River up in the Ozark Mountains of northern Arkansas. This is quite a tricky approach because the runway itself is situated between mountains in a river valley.
To put Gastons in context for you, you can find it right about here. I find Google Earth a brilliant tool when it comes to situational awareness and flight planning, especially when it comes to bush flying, unimproved strips, or any landing away from normal certified airports. You can virtually fly your approach in 3D, check out the surrounding terrain and plan your letdown should terrain or obstacles be a factor. You can easily double check things like runway length and width, as well as distance to terrain and other obstacles, and even answer that important age-old question, where do I park? Well, right there at the end, of course. The other factor that presents a challenge at Gastons is the proximity of other airports. Here you'll find no less than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other airports that operate on multiple different frequencies. Having familiarised ourselves with the airport and surrounding area, it's now time to put it all into practice and land at Gastons.
Rather than turn left and follow the river here, what I'm going to do is overfly the river slightly, because there's a set of, don't know if you can see it, there's a set of high voltage power lines that actually live just across the river there. So we're going to proceed straight, and rather than going over a point in the power lines where they're suspended up in the air, we're going to go a little further down to where we can actually see the stanchions and then cut down this valley here. So slight left turn into the valley. I'm going to get configured nice and early. So I want to be hanging my flap, and I want to be ready as soon as possible. So I've got no changes in attitude or pitch to the aeroplane in this critical phase of flight. So you can just see the river there. Now the runway itself is to the right of the river, beyond the green open field that you can see right in the centre of frame now. We've got some guy's house just passing by on the left. There are those power lines I was talking about. And we're going to proceed down towards this saddle in the hill here. And once I'm satisfied that we're clear of terrain and clear of these trees, I'm going to make a right turn here and then follow this field. Now the strip itself is right in the middle of frame now. So we have to line ourselves up over this open field because it's a very narrow corridor. You want to make sure that you're lined up well, that you're configured early, and you want to make sure there's not too much of a gusty crosswind, because it could push you into one of these trees and really wreck your day. So now for the final letdown. Line it up, we're happy with it. And there's our threshold marker, don't want to touch down any sooner than that. Pull the power back to idle, and in we go. There's a bit of a funny strip here, a couple of lumps and bumps, so you tend to get airborne again a couple of times on the rollout. But she's a nice long strip. She's about 1 kilometre long, 1100 metres. So no issues with stopping, no issues with braking performance. We can pretty much let it roll to a stop under its own friction, not much braking at all required. So yeah, look, anyone who's ever dreamed of visiting somewhere like Gastons, I urge you to do it. It's a real once in a lifetime experience coming into a spot like this, and we've got another fellow Cirrus here waiting for us. The SR20 is a fantastic touring platform, very economical. For the fuel we burn, it's reasonably fast. I mean, we're tazzing at 145 knots now, lean of peak, at 7,000 feet, which is a fantastically efficient place to be. One thing you really can't escape flying here in the States is the can-do attitude of aviation in America compared to other places I've flown. When you're flying VFR here in the States, the flight following service is very easy to organise and very helpful. Just little things like if there's a cell building to one side of your track, the air traffic service will to some degree assist with that as well, which is something that I'd not heard or been used to previously. At the moment we are flying IFR. Just a couple of little build-ups here. I just didn't want to have to worry too much about maintaining VFR, and at the end of the day, if there's a storm that moves through or a cloud deck that forms, I'd much rather have the flexibility of being able to punch through it and shoot and approach if need be. I mean, most of these regional airports here in the States have an ILS, but added to that we're LPV, WAS and RNAV equipped as well. So either way, we've got some decent options here on the ship.
Cheers for joining us once more. Don't be shy to hit that subscribe button, and as always, thanks for flying with us.